Well, good morning. I just want to add to the fray. I have not showered this morning. How about that? So I showered late in the day yesterday, and I got up this morning and I splashed a little water on my face and my hair, and boom, I'm ready to go because I didn't give myself enough time to take a shower, frankly. Well, maybe I did have. I just was too groggy. And I was like, I'm not staggering and stumbling into there this morning. Maybe that would have woke me up more or better, waken me up better. But there, for all of those of you who, Steph and Sandra, who have showered, just coming out of the shower, just coming out of the bath, I am just coming out of bed and making coffee and stuff like that. So you guys are way ahead of me. Me neither, says Russ. Was that Russ talking over there? Me neither. Has to be. So here we go. I said, Russ, you must be talking on here as well, because I typed "here we go" and you must have typed "me neither." Yep, he says, good morning. So everybody, if you don't know it already, this is It's Sunday. We've affectionately called it after much laboring and imagination and trying to come up with a title a few years ago. So it's Sunday, and this is the informal Intrepid radio program for Sunday morning. All we do here on Sunday is just talk. You can call in if you'd like. There is a call-in link in the description below. I can also put that in for those of you who don't want to go look it up. I'll paste that into the chat room. Let's make a kind of an internal announcement about this. We say it from time to time. If you are watching this show over on Facebook, or you can watch it on Twitter, you can watch it, or X now, I guess it is. So I don't know why I said that like I'm surprised. I know that. X, Twitter, X. Or if you're watching this show in some other location other than the YouTube channel, you can now, by the way, watch it over on my... I don't think I have the live upload over at Rumble yet, but I'm going to get the Rumble account going. And it doesn't play live over at Patreon, but I should be putting this show live over on both of those entities. So right now, the best place if you want to chat is right here in the YouTube channel. If you're over on Facebook or any of the other places, the chat doesn't show up there. They've got their own chat systems. But if you're chatting in, say, Facebook, not everybody's going to see your chat. And you're not going to see everybody else's chat or is posting to the chat. So come on over to the YouTube. It's youtube.com/Scotty Roberts. And you'll find the live show and which one's playing right now. So Steph says, I had to wrestle with my dog to clean her ears and then apply ointment for her ear infection. She hates it. It was like a Tom and Jerry cartoon in here 20 minutes ago. You know, Steph, we've got what kind of dog do you have again? Because our pug mini English bulldog, Lucifer, she has the same thing. For years, it seems we've been putting stuff in her ears and cleaning her ears, and she's always scratching her ears, and so we've always got Raini does it more than I do, but clean those ears out. And then, of course, they get them full of the ointment after you've the wash, and you got to have a towel and put it over her head. So when she right away, she'll shake her head and it gets all over everything. And it's just like gross. So, yeah, we've got the same kind of thing that goes on with our pup. And Professor Bauer is here this morning. Good to see you. And so, you know what, folks, today, while there's all kinds of other things in the world to talk about, I have found that we can get buried in politics. We can get buried in all different kinds of things like that because they're overwhelming. And I know people, and even I have done this, political talk, it's necessary to a certain degree. But then after a while, it is so... what's the word I want to put? it's overwhelming. It gets straining. It's stressful. And then you got to take a break from it because it's daily. It's every day. It's ongoing. And you notice that there's nothing. How do I want to say this? It seems there is nothing that takes place in government, in politics, in politics has become kind of a dirty word, but there's nothing that goes on in our current events that involves governing of a society that is not laden and laced with corruption, with people trying to do good, some people trying to do good for themselves, some trying to do good for others. And that seems to be the governing factor over everything political. Is everybody's out for themselves, and it's hard not to be. I mean, sure, you look at somebody as simple as me or you. I have things that I'm out for self-interest. Yes, I want to make sure that I succeed. I want to get my family ahead. Would I like to make millions? Sure, I would. We all have that. Why do we shower or bathe? Because we want ourselves to be clean. So we all have self-interest. I get that. But when you enter government, of course, you can have certain bits of narcissistic tendencies. Everybody does, believe it or not, unless you're a sociopathic narcissist. And so we all look out for number one. We all want to make sure we get paid. We all want to make sure we're doing okay. But there are people out there that want to make our society work well. But then there are those who want to do well off of our society by working for that. And you can look at that by the numbers that you see of what somebody's net worth was when they entered into public service versus what it is after having been there for a few years. And that usually tells the tale. And that doesn't mean everybody who makes good money does so off of the people or off of the government, but it's worth looking into in certain cases. So people who I don't know, the Clintons, who when they entered office as president, Bill Clinton, I think the figure was something like they were worth like 1.2 million. Okay, now that's 30 years ago. When they left office and after office, they're worth 750 million. Now, I know the presidency doesn't pay that much, so that's interesting. How do they do? Steph is listening to the chat. She's got to go get dressed. Well, don't worry on our account. We're not looking. I won't be reading it for a minute or so. That's okay, Steph. We'll be here. We'll wait for you. No, we're here. We're good. All right. So all of that to say, that rambling bit of nothing was that politics gets so tiring to follow. So you have to, if you're going to talk about it at all, you have to kind of pick and choose where you want to go or be light about everything, because every day there's something new. And there are people, I think, that are in it for good, and then you got to deal with their personalities. Look at Trump. Has he got the personality that we all like? Not necessarily. But I think he's good at what he does, and some people have chosen to hate him because of his personality. Others love him. Doesn't matter to me. Same with any public figure out there. What are their personalities like? If they're there's many of them that try to come off like they are, I'm here for you. I'm fighting the good fight for you. Whenever I hear somebody say that, I'm like, you know what? You got me questioning you now. If you got to keep telling me how much you're fighting for me, I don't want to hear it. Show me. It's like I look at certain political parties that are out there that say we are fighting to make things better, but they've been fighting at it for 50 years. And some of them, the whole 50 years they've been in office, fighting the same fight. Well, it's like the border crisis. We're fighting to make sure the border, and it's like, no, it takes a day. We were discussing this the other day, that Trump says, I'll fix the border in a day. And at least the immediate problem, and then we can work on it from there. Well, it can be done in a day. Trump would say, and you could, and I could get in there. Bauer could get in there. Steph could get in there. We could all be in office and go, I'm going to fix this problem right now. I'm going to issue an executive order that says we're closing the border. Let's close it temporarily until we get it figured out. If we've got to work at getting funding and doing this and doing that, but what about the poor immigrants? Well, they've been pouring in nonstop, as if the nuts and bolts have been taken off the spigot, and it's just like an open fire hydrant. That's been going on too long. What did they say? In the last 3 years, we have taken in more people at the southern border, have come across the border, than equal the populations of 33 different states in the United States. So you've had whole states of people by now coming in, and over 300,000 people last month alone, 1 month. Now the Biden administration, they're trying to make a big deal, and Biden said something about it the other day, how they're, if the Republicans would just stop stalling and vote for this bill. Well, the Republicans can't agree with the bill that's out there. It's full of holes. It's not solving the problem. And did you know that part of I don't have it in front of me and I haven't studied it, but I saw part of it is the Democrats' proposal for the southern border, that they're saying, oh, the border isn't getting fixed because the Republicans are stalling. That's bullshit. They found it's very handy to make that. See, that's the politics that gets so tiring. It's, well, we can't get this done because the other side is doing this and that. It's like, no, the other side is not voting for your plan because your plan is horrid. One of the points of the plan was that they were going to limit people coming into the border to 5,000 people a day. A day. What is that? Do the math, folks. What is that in 30 days? What's 5 times 3? 15. That's 150,000 people a month coming across the southern border. It's about half of what we're getting there now. Is that fixing the problem? No. So, all a president has to do, I heard somebody from, I don't know who it was somebody in charge, head of the border patrol or whatever it is. He said, we're going to have this problem until November of this year. He says, and probably a little bit after, maybe January 20th of next year, when the new president takes office. He didn't say who the new president was going to be. He says, when the new president takes office, and which means he obviously believes one particular party is going to win, one particular person. So I believe if Trump gets in, he'll do exactly what he said. He's going to lock down that border so nobody gets in until we figure out how to make it work better. And that's what they'll say. What do you think Biden has been? What's Biden been doing with the border for 3 years? Has he done that? Has he staved off the inflow of people in order to be able to figure out how to make it work better? No. So politics. Why are they? There's all these theories then that develop around why are they letting people come across the southern border so much? Why isn't the left staving that off? Why are they allowing Texas to bear the brunt? Texas and Arizona, some of those southern states. If you sneak in, you're banned forever, Steph says. I agree. So one of the theories out there, and this theory, by the way, is not new with the border crisis. The theory is when you've had the left in control, their theory is that they're going to let all these people in. The idea right now is that there's the 8 to 9 million people that have illegally come into this country and are released into our country, most of which they don't know where they are anymore. That they're going to, the left wants to let all these people in, then they want to issue a general amnesty. Now, this is a theory that people have out there. They're going to issue a general amnesty. It's been talked about, so that everybody who's here can now become legal. We declare you all citizens. You're good. Just come in and sign your paper and get your passport or your driver's license or your free phone or whatever, or all of the above, and we'll make sure that you are a citizen. Total amnesty. And then they are hoping that that becomes a voting block. And their assumption, which is maybe incorrect, is that all of them would vote for the left. So there's all these scenarios, and some of them we talked about the other night. So you look at that and you say, if that's the truth, what kind of political gaming is that? And how will that bite our country in the ass? You got to ask yourself. So, and is that what's going to happen? And get them to deny that that's what the plan is. Steph says, we're already seeing the illegals here with no driver's license or insurance and getting into car accidents. The police officers just let them go. And that's bullshit, says Steph. Yeah, what can they do? Not allowed to deport them. You can deport in certain cases now. But so here's my point. Immigration's a big problem. Why? It's an influx of people that are not going through the proper process. There is a process to come into, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. So says the Statue of Liberty. But at the same time, it's not, I swing my doors wide open. That's not what we're doing. The doors are open, but they're open to those who do it the right way. There is a process. It's just like voting. People say that's why the left has turned to the whole preserve democracy. They keep calling us a democracy when they know damn well we're not a democracy. We have democracy, but we are a republic, a limited republic, a constitutionally limited republic. And which, when you filter that down to immigration, you filter it down to the vote. You know what that means? We have rules that you have to live by. If you're going to vote, there are rules for voting. Well, I didn't get there in time, so my vote doesn't count. Yeah, right. There are rules. If you don't make it in time, you don't get on. Think of everything going on in life that you have to abide by the rules. What are the rules at your place of employment, generally speaking? If you don't show up to work on time, you might get fired. Oh, that's so unfair, but that's the rules. Same with our country. We have democracy, meaning you have the right to cast your vote. But there are also rules about voting. You have to vote on this day. You have to vote with this ID. You have to be able to prove who you are and where you're from and that you're a citizen. And you have to be able to prove that you've voted only once. All of these, there have to be all those fail-safes in place. You got a day to vote. Why do we now have 2 months to vote? You got a day. And there's a reason that's set up that way. So there are rules. And there are rules for that. There are rules for immigration, rules for immigration. There's rules. You got to come and follow the rules in order to get into this country. It takes abiding by the rules. So all of that to say, that's what all of that came out of, just extemporaneously, and I'm not going toward any one point other than I think common sense. This is why you can talk politics on a show like mine only for so long, and then it's like, whoosh, I got to move off of the politics, because you'll get buried in it. And especially if you follow the daily bullshittery that goes on out there day by day by day. Now, it's important that we're informed. I think it's important that we remain informed. I look at stuff like the Trump trials. I look at all that and say, if you choose to not be very informed, you're going to be stupid about it. I don't want to be stupid about that. I want to know what's going on and why it's going on. And if I find out that a judge is bad, or the system sucks, or it's obvious if you look at what's going on with Trump right now. How many people do you know? How many former presidents do you know that we have put through the ringer like this? And the only reason it works is because there's been a narrative that was set in place about Trump by the left from the day he came down the escalator in 2015. And that narrative was, this is a bad man, and we're going to do everything we can to take him out of power and not let him get power. That's why do you think they wanted to, after he left office, why do you think they wanted to impeach him in retrospect? He's out of office. You can't impeach him anymore. But the left pushed to have him impeached a third time. Why were they doing that? They wanted to do everything in their power to make sure he could never get back into office. But you know what was interesting? The first impeachment of Trump, purely right down party lines. The left wanted to impeach him. When that happens, guess what? It's become a political tool. The one party wants to prevent the other party from remaining in office or running for office again. Then what happened? The Senate vacated it. So it's null and void. Then they impeach him a second time. Senate vacates that as well. There were a few more Republicans that time, but those Republicans, you'll notice what? Look at their records. People don't look at this. They aren't. They're rhinos, Republican in name only. Look at what they do. Watch their actions. And then they try to do it a third time. Do you know they tried 9 times? From the second day Trump was in office, they put up articles of impeachment. Day 2. And they tried 9 times before they got it to work. And then, thank goodness, the Senate vacated it twice. So I saw a meme of Trump sitting in his office. It was a great picture. It was pulled back. You're seeing him sitting. You see him from head to foot with one of those kind of wide angle lens kind of things. And he's sitting there and he says, even when I get impeached, I'm not impeached. So, and it was great. And that's true. So politics day in, day out. I want to know what the dirt is on each and every single one of them. Says, so do I. Everybody who, and some of them are dirty. Some of them are just stupid. I see so many people in things that I don't waste much time on this anymore. As I learned over the years, I wasted too much time fighting with these people verbally on social media. But every now and then I see a post and I see somebody that will say something and I say something back and I go, this is all because you're not looking. You're not opening your eyes. You're not paying attention. I saw just yesterday somebody just decrying Trump again, and they're praising the $83.3 million that was just imposed by a judge on Trump for the rape charge from over 20 years ago. That, did you know this? The original trial on that? they found him not guilty. Well, he was not guilty. They couldn't prove him guilty. And he was dismissed. But then they came back and did the civil trial, which is not the criminal trial, and sued him for defamation of character, that he ruined this woman's character and all of this because he called her an idiot or whatever. He did his Trumpisms on her, which is fine. That's what he does. We all know Trump. We're used to that. But maybe some people are sick of that. But so the judge imposes $83 million for a closer to 30-year-old claim that she was raped by him in an elevator. Excuse me. Wow. I got another one coming. I don't even bother with the cough button, sneeze button anymore. But she made a claim. He claimed she was making that claim to make her book work, to bolster her book claims, her books. And he said he didn't even know who this person was, let alone rape her it was in a clothing store dressing room. That's what it was. And thank you, Steph. Bless you, she says. Gesundheit. Thank you, Morgan Snow. And so Trump denied it. How are you going to prove that somebody raped you in a dressing room 30 years ago? Well, the Me Too movement would have told you that, if the woman says so, it happened. Not necessarily so. This particular woman is kind of a nut job if you look at her. My opinion, I'm looking at the news. So it's vacated or dismissed. And what happens? The civil trial, they award her $83 million. Now you got to look at who is the judge on the bench. Who are the people behind it? And it all starts adding up to $83 million because somebody claimed you raped them. That's like my friend whose whole career was shut down, and he lost so much money because somebody made a claim that he raped her. And there was all the evidence even pointed that it was impossible to have happened. Yet there are still people that believe it. He was acquitted, and the whole thing was dismissed. So exonerated, I guess, is the best word. Yeah, Steph, you're right. Men like President Trump have women throwing themselves at him like he would want her, never mind sexually assaulting her. She also told, was it Anderson Cooper or someone, that she finds rape sexy. Oy, 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 oy. And so now what do you got going on? You got the press. This will tell you something too. You got the press all over this, mocking Trump and saying, it's Trump's getting what he deserves. This woman finally got, and blah, blah, blah. Have they said anything about her? Has anybody looked into her and reported on that? Nope. I haven't seen much. So, yeah, it sounds like a blackmail and a payout. $83 million. Now, of course, Trump is going to contest that. Now, I don't know how the process works. I don't know if he has to come up with the money and pay her the money prior to the thing being contested, but he's going to contest it, as he should, if he didn't do it. $83 million is the most excessive. And they're saying it's because of her loss of reputation and all of this and that and blah, blah, blah. I don't believe it for a minute. So, even though Trump is not a personal friend of mine, I don't see him as somebody who would rape somebody. Now, let me say this. If somebody had sex in a dressing room, that can be hot and sexy. Not rape, though. I'm not talking rape. I'm talking somebody figures out, hey, I'm not admitting to this, but I'm saying, let's say Raini and she said, come in here and look at this. And in this dressing room, how does this look on me? And things happen, and you spend a few minutes in the dressing room. Now, is that gross? Some people go, gross. Other people go, wow, that's pretty sexy. I get that. There is that element to it. I mean, how many times have we seen movies or books or something where those kinds of things happen and it's like, wow, that's sexy as hell. But she couldn't file it even 10 years ago. I missed funny how that hack of a governor changed the time limit so she could file suit. And it didn't run out. Yeah, that's right. So these are all attempts. If you haven't figured it out, you're smart people. And it amazes me how many smart people out there look at this stuff and accept it. I told somebody, I thought I was having a very good conversation with somebody on the, let's see if I can even find it here. I was trying to talk about why he believed what he believed about Trump. And let's see. I said something like, somebody said, just a quip in response was, yeah, well, Trump's got those 91 indictments. I just laugh every time I see it. Let's see him talk his way out of that. And I want to ask, do you know anything about what you're talking about? This is what that side of the game wants people to believe about Trump. Oh, he's racked up 91 indictments. But I said to this person, I said, by way of example, when you have a single phone call heard by, let's say, we'll use an arbitrary number, 14 people, and a prosecutor comes in and says, that was an illegal phone call, and each of those 14 people are chalked up totaling 14 individual indictments, and then you do this over 4 or 5 times, what do you got? You'll end up with 91 indictments. So in essence, what they're saying, it's the same charge, the same action. They didn't file it as one indictment that involved several people hearing it. They took each one of the people who heard it as a violation and therefore an individual indictment. You get that? It says, so if you get, instead of having one phone call or one thing said or one defamation said according to the charge, you've got 14 of them because you got 14 individuals who heard it. So that totals up to 14 indictments of the 91. And I was using that as an arbitrary number. So I said, when you have that, you have a prosecutor who is striving for effect in numbers. He's not just saying, we're prosecuting him for this. This is what he's indicted on, what he said. And he had an audience that heard it. They're taking it and saying everybody who heard it is an individual indictment. That's dog and pony showing. I've heard more legal analysts say that's the way prosecutors work very hard to try to cover up the fact that they don't have substance to their charge. They make it multiple charges for the same thing. And then the guy's got 91 indictments instead of 1 or 3 or whatever. So 91 indictments simply means that they're putting on a show for the unthinking American citizen. And I said that to the guy. I wanted him to get the impact of, if you believe this, you're not thinking. And that's the thing, is people don't think their way through this stuff. And that's what gets so ridiculous. So there was something else I was going to look at too, that something about the way we talk to people, the way I talk to people, the way I want people to understand what I'm saying. Somebody said to me yesterday, and this is as much time as I've taken in some of these debates online. Somebody said, and by the way, we're going to get to the Tarot stuff. Don't worry. I'm just getting this stuff off my chest. We've still got an hour and a half of this show, so hang on if anybody's worried about that. If somebody said, well, the way I see it, let's see. He said to me, I think in response to some of that, I said, somebody had said something like, they were saying Biden trolls Trump after the record stock market highs. That was the other day. Oh, Biden says, and he's laughing. He says, look at the stock market. The stock market's at a record high. This was just a few days ago. And I said, what makes this even better is that Joe, in his state of diminished mental capacity, had no idea that the market rise was predicated on Trump's New Hampshire win, which invigorated investors, projecting a brighter future with Trump's re-election. Now, all kinds of weird orange man bad type of people said things like, that's BS. I said, okay. I said, do you know something different than I know about the facts? And one guy said, bullshit. He says, this winning trend has continued for years under Biden. Do you see the stock market and the economy getting better under Biden? That's what this guy contended. And I said, in response, I said, if I understand you correctly, you're saying that Biden is experiencing a winning presidency. I said, I have to ask you with all seriousness and candor, do you truly believe that? Or are you simply doing your best to wear a good face in order to support your party or your political leaning? I only ask because if what President Biden is doing is classified as winning in your book, what the hell would failing look like to you? I'll be the first one to put my hand in the air and say that I'm diametrically opposed to most of the current Joe Biden White House ideology. But I would never desire to see him fail. He's the President of the United States, and I respect and defend the office. But he is also a man in severe cognitive decline who is not capable of making decisions or being a leader. If anyone is winning, you could say it would be his core of handlers behind the curtain. I mean, supporting your guy is admirable, but it's also honorable to step out and admit that he's got to step down. He is winning nothing, and he deserves to have enjoyed his long legacy that has been destroyed by his utterly devastating, imploded presidency. I have never seen a winning president enjoy the downward cascade of his approval ratings like I've seen with Joe Biden. He will go down in history, not as a man who had a legacy, as 8 years of a vice president and a career. He will go down in history as by far the very worst POTUS in recorded history. But the party cannot admit that. Here's the crux, folks. When you can't admit that because you're so blinded by, I've got to support my party. If Trump raped a woman and we knew it, all of us would be against him, that they have supported him. Or just take a political maneuver where he was right or wrong. But the party can't admit that. They can't admit Joe Biden is the worst president ever. Why are they keeping him in office? Because you got an election coming up. They can't take the president out and say, we've allowed a president in cognitive decline to be sitting in office all this time, taking on the role of an effective president, when we all know for God's sake that he's not. The party just can't admit that. They can't come clean with the people. And they're hoping that the ability of 98% of the country to abandon common sense and adhere to the political propaganda is going to win the day for them. And they might be right. They did it the first time. How much of the country do you think doesn't have a clue? They just go by what their party tells them to do. So the only problem with all of that is that it's living a lie for the sake of attempting to bolster your party and win the office again. Winning comes when you realize that you've been held by the machine, that you've been had by the machine, and you step away from it. And the guy never responded to me after that, but there you go. You have to use common sense with people. So anyway, politics, there it is. All of what I've just said for the last half hour is off of me saying, this is why I don't do politics that much anymore. I get so tired of it. So when I do talk about this stuff, I like to characterize it as current events. We're talking about current events. We're talking about what's going on in our country. Blah, blah, bloody, blah, bloody, blah, blah, blah. All right. Let me take some more coffee. I hope this is still hot. There's my French press, by the way. And get a little more coffee going. I think, yeah, there we go. We're at the dregs. So it's a little chewier at the bottom. I like my coffee so I can chew it. And there's that. All right. Cheers. If you got coffee, lift them up. Now, 45 minutes in, let's kind of hit a topic we haven't done for a long time, and that's the tarot. And I may have to bring up my house lights to do this. Why don't you hold on a second? I'm just going to step around to the other side of the desk and turn my lights up because it's dark in here. It looks lighter on camera, but it's really not that light in here. Here we go. Light. Let there be light. All right. See, a huge, huge difference in lighting here now. There we go. All right. So yesterday, Raini and I we actually got out on a date yesterday. Believe it or not. Why is everything so yellow? Well, let's see. There, that's a little better. Could be my yellow gel is on here. Let me give me a second. And when it's really dark and there's too much bright white light, it just washes everything out. And the camera on this computer, frankly, is ready to go. I need a new computer pretty soon, but in the inability to really replace this whole thing right now, I'm going to get another camera, I think, an external camera, and hook that in. Hey, Shannon S. Yarn. I don't know if I know you or not, but welcome. Hey, family. I must know you if you're calling us all family. So, Shannon, I don't know if I've talked to you before. I don't recall this moniker, so if you're comfortable with it, let me know who you are. Otherwise, don't worry about it, and I'll just call you Shannon. Yarn. So it's good to have you here. Don't know if I've had you here before or not. At least not under that name. I'm not recognizing it. So welcome. So I'm looking at all the comments in here, and it's good to have you all here. Let's talk about tarot a little bit. And lawfare. There you said it, Morgan Snow, by the way, referring back to what we were already talking about. Steph says it's snowing like a mother effer. We've got no snow. We've got green grass, as a matter of fact, mid-January, which I don't recall ever seeing at any time in my life. It's not global warming like the political movement. It is global warming, though, on a natural level, that's for sure. So it's weird. And it's going to be up in the 50s this week over here. 50s, maybe even pushing 60, they're talking about. So, oh, you're new. Hey, good to have you then, Shannon. I'm so glad. Glad you're here. Adaimoni. I'm not sure what language that is. Adai sounds like a little like Adonai, but I don't know if that's it. So good to have you. I'm glad you're here. Forgive the casual nature of our Sunday morning shows, but that's the way it is. I'm seeing a lot of light reflected here on this picture. So that light being on is here. since she's not here, I'll just hold it up. She's upstairs, still sleeping. There's my lovely wife, Raini. Morning coffee with Scotty and Raini. There she is. So she's just back here. Let's make sure the light's not. That's a little. Hello. Maybe I got to look at what I'm doing, huh? Let's get her back up. And make sure the light is not doing that right into the camera. There we go. All right. So she is here in spirit and still laying a low profile. She's not even downstairs here right now. So cheers. All right. So we were out yesterday on a little date, just a little date. Got away for a couple hours. And we went to Target, a couple of other places, and we're in the book section. And Raini pulls up this deck, and she goes, "Look at this deck. It's a Dungeons and Dragons Tarot." Now look at the art. I'm always drawn to Tarot by the imagery, and of course it was sealed, and so I'm looking at the images they're showing on the back, and I thought, wow, that's gorgeous artwork. I like it. Very modern artwork. And so we bought it last night. And it comes, like most tarot decks, if they're done well. And the one I was going to do, which I never did, had the same thing. It's got an open box. It's got a little book in it and the cards. And so when we got home and we opened it up, I started going through and looking at this deck. And it is absolutely gorgeous. Like here's some of the artwork. Think Dungeons and Dragons, and this is some of the artwork. And what I found was that it doesn't have your typical, they've created their own suits, which are they've got the major arcana, which is, if you know anything about the tarot, the major arcana are kind of these messages from God, this spirit, the universe. The high priestess, the empress, the emperor, the hierophant, and the lovers, the chariot, strength, the hermit, the wheel of fortune, justice, the hanged man, death, temperance, the devil, the tower, the star, the moon, the sun, judgment, the world. Those are all of your major arcana. And then instead of having the cups, the swords, the wands, and the pentacles, or the coins, it's got strength, which I think is kind of like, I want to say it was kind of like the swords, but I see some elements of the wands in there. So they've made up their own suits, which is fine. If you start that way with any particular deck, you can make your own deck, scroll them out on 3x5 cards with stick men, and say, this is my deck, and this is how it works. Spirit has a way of working through that. God has a way of working through that. Whoever's delivering the message. So they've got the suit of strength. They've got the suit of intelligence. They've got the suit of wisdom and the suit of charisma. Yeah, it's a suit of strength. The whole suit, ace through king. And those are the 4 suits they have. And so I wanted to go through some of these. I wanted to show you some of these cards and show you what they mean. And maybe we'll do like 1-card readings once we shuffle this up. I'm going to show you some of the deck before we do that. But I'll do like 1-card readings for people. And just start lining up. And we'll do some of it. We're not going to do them so much right away. I want to get into this. And I haven't even shuffled this deck for the first time yet. But it's a pretty deck. That's the look of the cards. And then this is your artwork. And I wanted to show you what some of these look like. So like here, this is the King of Strength. And that's the look. I'm sorry it gets blurry up close. It doesn't have a macro lens. But there's the King of Strength. So if I were to draw this card for you, I'd have to go by the book because I don't know, is that the King of Swords? It does have a sword in the image. See, it's got a sword. You can see in the imagery down there as part of the root of the tree. So the strength might represent swords. As I know, swords talks about it was the suit, the traditional suit of swords is swords indicates power and strength and authority, but also conflict, giving or getting conflict. So if I were to look up, let's see, the 5, the 8 of strength, this is the king of strength. Let's see what it says about him. The king of strength. Just really simply, I'm gonna look at it from this book and see what they have to say about this card. It says, the king of strength, fully expressing your powers of leadership and realizing your vision and teaching others. While traveling, the party comes across a nest of yuan ti that are planning on enslaving a nearby village. I think there's a game they have wrapped up in this particular deck, too. I haven't even looked through the book fully. It's got a section at the beginning, how to read the tarot. Here you got the major arcana and the minor arcana. Here, I'll tell you what this particular book says about it. Now, the major arcana, we already know. It's denoted by the cards that are numbered from 0 to 21. And it represents the archetypical life lessons that all humans beings experience, such as love, loss, change, consciousness. And the major arcana are challenges we revisit through our lives, but in different places. Our life experience is continually expanding with time, so our capacity for understanding gives us a deeper insight into these lessons. So that would be the major arcana. And the major arcana are what I usually call those lessons of God snapping a finger in your face and saying, listen to this is important. Now, the minor arcana is made up of the 56 other cards in the deck. There's 78 cards in Tarot. And they're divided into 4 suits, just like a deck of playing cards. Spades, clubs, queens, and diamonds. Not queens, hearts and diamonds. So those 4 suits are usually in the traditional tarot. Like I mentioned, it's the cups, the wands, the pentacles or coins, and the swords. Now this deck, these are the cards in the minor arcana that represent life's temporary highs and lows that pop up and fade away. They're temporary. Unlike the enduring and evolving transformations of the major arcana. So you get something from the major arcana, it's an overall life thing. Something in the minor arcana, it's reading the, as I say, a snapshot of the day, of the time, of what's going on. And so in this deck, it says they've mapped the traditional suits of the minor arcana, wands, swords, cups, and pentacles, to abilities within the game of D&D. So that's an interesting take on how they develop it. So they got strength, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma are the 4 suits. Strength signifies your physical ability to move out and change your environment. It's also your passion, creativity, inner resolve, and heart. These cards show seekers that they need to take action and focus on their inner strength to bring about change in the world. So you can see they've created their own tarot deck, which is just fine to do. If you create the deck, all you have to do is make sure you read within the structure of what that created deck is. It's going to deliver the message that needs to be heard either way. If you call it a coin or a sword or a strength or an intelligence. So that was the strength. The second suit they have is intelligence. That suit represents how the power of intellect can shape our world. And these cards show seekers how they can use their thoughts to shape their attitudes and their realities. Rarely do we see the world as it is without our mind creating a story around it. Isn't that true? Isn't that what we just talked about with politics? Let me read that again because that's profound. As human beings, rarely do any of us see the world as it is without our mind creating a story around it. Think about that for a second. Interesting take on all that stuff, isn't it, Steph? Steph says. And Morgan Snow, so true. So that's the suit of intelligence. Then there's two more. Wisdom represents not only your external perception, but also your capacity to look into your internal world and see all the subtleties within yourself. These cards tell seekers to turn within and listen to the nonverbal language of the heart and the body in order to gain access into wisdom of insight, intuition. Boy, I'm going to have to practice with these cards to get up to snuff with them, but I'm liking what I'm reading with this already. I kind of like where they've taken this. Then the fourth suit is charisma. It denotes a person's confidence, eloquence, their ability to influence the material world with their strength and their energy. These cards show seekers that a flowering of their inner beauty and power is taking place, or that they have an opportunity to grow their self-esteem and expand their capacity for fun and joy. That's the suit of charisma. So those are the four suits, along with the traditional major arcana. And now, I've always said, just see it, it's in this section of the book, upright and reversal and reversed meanings. I have traditionally read tarot that I don't read a strict reversal. You know, that's when you lay the cards down and one of them comes up upside down. A couple of them do. It tends to, there's been a traditional way to read those that generally means there's kind of a flipped meaning, a reversal meaning of what the card would mean if it's in reversal. And so I've never read strict reversals. I just flip them back upright when they come off. If they come off the pile upside down, I flip them upright, because I believe every card has its innate positive and negative, and I can read both. And it all depends for me when I do a whole spread of 10 cards for somebody. And there's a few of you I've read. Steph, if you're okay with me saying it, well, it's too late now. Just did a reading a couple of weeks ago for Steph. I've done readings for Cordia, I'm sorry. And I don't know why I said cardia. I was thinking cardio. Cordia. And other people in here have done readings for you. So, you know, and I've done a couple of other ones for friends recently. We lay out a whole spread. You see how the rest of the cards will indicate whether a card that you throw down is to be read as a positive or a negative. You see how they all work together. Is what is it? Thank you, Cordelia. And so, reversals. Many tarot readers give upside down or reversed cards an opposite meaning to the upright version. In this booklet, it says there is no reversed meaning. But as the reader of tarot, feel free to follow your intuition. And if you feel the seeker needs a bit of a wake-up call, then a reversed interpretation can offer and do the trick. I've seen that in cards where a card can be interpreted a couple of different ways, and you look to see what the rest of the cards are saying. So I think a good tarot reader is somebody who's going to know the cards and what they kind of mean. And then it goes through in this book, card spreads, one card spread. A one card reading is good for a quick check-in. It can be used to obtain clarity on a choice that you need to make or to keep a message in the forefront of your mind for the day. So maybe a good thing to do right now, I might need somebody helping me out in the chat room because I'm talking so much and I'm not looking at the chat room, but I'm just going to kind of grab you as I see you. We're going to just do one card readings for everybody out of this deck. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle it, which I believe puts a little bit of my energy in it. Now, I'm going to be stuck to the book a little bit because I'm not quite sure how they've changed the definitions. And I'm not quite sure by looking at it. Like I said, I can pull a card up that says the 6 of strength. I don't know what suit quite that's following yet. So I've got to figure out, and I'll learn as we go, and I'll go, oh, 6 of strength. That might be swords. And I'll be able to figure that one out. Steph said, LOL, it's funny. You told me about people that you know but didn't know it was dealing with them. Oh, yeah, that happens all the time. Morgan Snow, it says, yes, please. I'm going to do you first, but let's bang on, says Steph. All right. So here we go. We got about an hour left of this show, and we'll do a bunch of these if we can. So here's what I'm going to do. Something I always do when it comes to tarot. I shuffle the deck 3 times. I don't think there's any magic number for it. I shuffle them 3 times because, frankly, I say you can take a deck cold without even shuffling it, and I'd split it and pull a card out for somebody, and it's going to be 99 out of 100 times. It's going to be something that's meant for the person you're reading. This is what I believe about, and I kind of looked up because I wanted to see what other people were saying about this. Why do tarot cards work? Is the question I had asked, and I looked at this, and I have no doubt that tarot cards do work. I've seen it for almost 40 years. I've been reading cards. 1986, I think, was the first year I read tarot, and I've been reading ever since. And that would be 86. It's now, that's 38 years I've been reading tarot cards. Sometimes I've had phases where I've done a whole lot of reading for people. Other times it's been I heard somebody coming up and down the steps. I don't know who that is. But what is hard to explain to people is not that tarot cards work, but why do they work? Hey, who's out there?
Me.
What you doing?
Getting soda for Mom.
What you getting?
Soda.
Oh, I see. Okay. How you doing? You can come and say hi to everybody. Here is the 12-year-old Rowan.
Ow.
Rowan Claire. There she is. And Bob Saget. How you doing, kitty? Oh, kitty, 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 kitty. So he is a good cat for being a dummy. So he does dumb things, but he's a cat. What do you expect?
I want a dog.
You what?
I want a dog.
You want a dog?
Yeah.
We got one. You're lucky. We've got a dog.
I want a new one.
Oh, you want a new one?
Yeah.
What kind do you want?
A little one. I want what are they called?
Let's see. I'm just going to draw a card. This is a little flippantly. Let's draw a card on Rowan and a new dog. We've got the Page of Charisma. Now, that card came up. Now, I did that rather quickly. Here, I'm going to see if I can prove a point with this. Now, it came up as a reversal. By the way, thank you, Steph, for that $4.99. Thank you very much. Here is the card, the Page of Charisma. All right, a very cool looking card. I'm trying to see. I can't see in some kind of beast. Oh, is that a horse? No, it's like a giant horse tiger type of thing. You're seeing the butt end there, and somebody's going to saddle it up or ride it in front of 2 doors that are opening. The Page of Charisma. Now, if we ask it came up in a reverse. Now, I've got to see, am I going to read this as a reverse for her or read it as a positive? Let's look up the Page of Charisma. Let's see what it says in this. And I got to look it up because I have no idea what that means in this book. Now, here it is in the book. There's a very brief description. The Page of Charisma. Getting into action and rekindling a sense of adventure with even the small things. Realize what isn't working. Now, that came up as a reversal. And you could see who she reminded you of. Raini. You look just like Mom. You're going to look just like Mom when you grow up, and you act just like Mom. So it's kind of fun to see in miniature. There's Raini in miniature. She and Ellery both. So getting into action, rekindling a sense of adventure. They give us an example in Dungeons & Dragons. Something is torn down a rope bridge that spans the chasm. The villagers need to help rebuild it. So how would this card, do you think, apply to whether or not we're going to get another dog because Rowan wants one?
It means we need a dog.
It means you have to rekindle a spirit of adventure. You have to fix the things that are broken first.
So,
You got to pay attention to stuff.
I do pay attention.
Okay.
Get a dog. That means to fix what's broken means we need to get a dog, and that will fix it.
You have to rekindle a sense of adventure with a dog.
Yeah.
You have to realize what isn't working in the present. That's what this card stands for. So, is that a positive or negative? This is talking about your attitude when it comes to getting a dog or asking for a dog. You got to see what you need to do, what action you need to take, and that it's okay to look for that adventure, but you also have to look to what's broken and put new energy into fixing that. So just look at it. Just take it and simmer on that for a while. That's all.
Tiny dogs, but they're like the really expensive ones. I always know them. Why don't I know them now? Shut up. They look like Lucy, but they're like smaller.
Frenchies.
I want a
Frenchies. Because Lucy's our pug. So, mini English Bulldog, getting bigger. She's not mini anymore. She's fat. She's not tubby fat. She's just tubby. You know, she's not gross fat. She gets too much people food, which the vet told us over a year ago, don't feed her people food because of her ear infections. Steph, you know what that's all about. And different things going on. Anyway, there you go. So there's your little mini reading for the day. Oh, your ears are flat like you're mad about that. He never really gets mad.
He does when I do this.
So make him mad. Yeah, let's do that. He's okay. Yeah, I'm sure the cat loves that. So let's see. Steph says, my friends have French eyes that they're hysterical. Very talkative. Oh, Frenchies. Yeah, Dan Madsen has a Frenchie, I do believe. Let's go Vikings, says Carlene.
Mom was going to text because she saw us the dude's business card that we got Lucy from. And she was going to see if he had any more dogs. Yeah,
Lucy, we got her from a good breeder. All right, I'm going to do some reading for people. So, all right. So let's do this. I said, Morgan, you're going to be first. Sorry, we got Rowan. We got her butt into the middle. So, hey there, Viking. Is Viking here's that Michael? Viking off-roading. Oh, let's go Vikings. I totally misread what that was about. You're ready to head to Texas. Now you're going to Texas. What you doing in Texas, Michael? So here we go. This is a little bigger deck than I'm used to using. So I'm just going to shuffle them up this way. I'm just going to put a little bit of my own energy into these cards by doing this. For me, this is just me saying to God, angels, universe, spirit guides, however you want to look at it, take some of my energy and put it into these cards. So I'm doing a good job reading them. All right. And they're a little bigger than my other deck, which I would usually take, and I'd shuffle them a standard way, but let's see if I can even do it with this deck because they're longer. Sometimes handling them when they're longer, it can be unwieldy. So everything's an entendre. Wow. There we go. Yes. Here's the round 2.
Rowan said that you did a reading and said that if we and asked.
Let's see how it gets interpreted here.
And asked if we could get a dog, and she said we have to fix that. You have to fix what's broken, and Lucy's broken, so she can't have babies. Does that mean we have to fix it?
I don't think that's what that means. It means you just have to be attentive. You have to be ready for the new adventure of it all, and it's a responsibility that has to be taken. New puppies are great. They're cute. They're fun until you get them home and you got to house train them.
I'm pretty sure that means that we have to fix Lucy so she's not neutered anymore.
Or you have to pay attention to what's not working right now. Who cleaned the litter boxes for the cat? Okay. Sometimes. After you're told. You got to fix the things. Like I said, I'm okay with a new pet as long as you guys take care of the current responsibilities. You show me 30 days.
Do another reading for the dog.
I'm not going to because I'm going to read somebody else right now. I've already done our personal one here. So I'm just shuffling the deck. I'm going to do that 3 times as my child tries to impose her will on what I'm doing. You can do that all you want. I got to move on with this, sweetheart. We'll do another one some other time. See, that one didn't even work for me. These cards are bigger and more unwieldy than fitting in the palm of my hand as the other decks do. So that's 2. And we'll go one more time. One more shuffle. And we'll take it from there. See, I can't even handle these. I got to figure out how to handle these cards better. Because I can shuffle. But, ooh, I can't use my normal technique. Okay, now I'm going to take that and we'll just do a little hand shuffle with them. All right, so we've got Morgan Snow is up first. That's the only one I know in my head so far that's in line, so keep letting me know as we go along here. We're going to read these one by one. We're going to take a look at this deck and see what this deck looks like and see if you think it's a neat deck. Now, I haven't charged these cards. Next full moon, I believe in this stuff. I'll lay them out in the waxing full moon. And you lay them out in the moonlight, and it charges the cards with natural energy. Some people might go, oh, what a bunch of hooey that is. Oh, I don't care what you think. How about that? All right. I'm going to cut the deck once and then put it back together. All right. Now, this is a shuffled deck. So I'm just going to take each person who's in line. I'm just going to draw off. I might cut the deck and take a new card out, but I'm going to place these back on the bottom. Let's see. Let's just establish a way we're going to do this. Yeah, I'll have to cut the deck a little bit so it's fresh every time, but I'm not going to reshuffle every time. So here we go. Hey, Kalina. Hey, JP. Glasses. So, I'm always down for reading. Let's do them. Let's do them all. Okay, Morgan. Now, this is, as those of you who are coming in late, this is a new deck I got, and it's laid out very differently than traditional tarot, other than it has a major arcana, which is the same, and then the 4 suits are all different. Instead of, as I just read, just to catch everybody up to snuff as we go here, the minor arcana, which is usually your cups, your wands, your coins or pentacles, and swords. These in this deck are strength, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So I'm going to use the little book here because I've read one card so far out of this deck. And so let's just go with what we got, and we'll take it from there. So, number 1, Morgan Snow. You there, Morgan? Here's your card. I'm going to pull this right off of the top after the fresh shuffle. You've got the Tower card. Interesting artwork. Now, the Tower, we all know what the Tower means in traditional tarot, and it's no different in this deck. This is the major arcana this is coming from. Major arcana is the part of the deck that is like messages from God, messages from the universe, universal things. So I'll tell you again what this particular book says about major arcana. They represent the archetypical lessons of life that all human beings experience, such as love, loss, change, consciousness. And these are the major arcana are challenges we revisit throughout our lives, but in different places and at different times. And our life experience is continually expanding with time. So this card, the Tower, I want to see what they say about the Tower in this particular deck. Let's see where it falls here as I'm reading the Emperor, the Lover's Chariot, Strength, the Hermit, Wheel of Fortune, Justice, the Hanged Man, Death, Temperance, the Devil, this Tower. Here we go. Right out of the book. The collapse of beliefs or material structures that we hold dear. It's the non-resistance where we can find peace and wisdom. There's an example with, it's a D&D deck. It says, the earth around you mysteriously begins to shake in a violent earthquake. So you can play a game with these cards too, I think. But that's the idea. And what I've said about the Tower card, the Tower is that indicator that things around you, Morgan, are changing. There's a change. There's something. We could look at it as catastrophic. We could look at it as life-changing. Something is altering. There's not a question about it happening. There's a question about how you're going to react to what's happening. It's how you react to the change. The Tower card generally shows that everything that we can build can be brought down to rubble without a moment's notice. And the big question is, what are we left to do with that? So this card is saying the state that you're in on a universal level with your life right now is, and I know you've had major catastrophes in the past. The loss of your husband, which was a few years ago now. But things are constantly moving, constantly in flux. I don't think this has to do with that. I'm getting just a sense that there are changes taking place by this card that are saying all you got to do, and it seems like a very general message, but remember, we're only doing one card, so I got nothing else to go on here in a reading, but this is telling me that things are happening to you right now that look like catastrophic change, a detailed change. Something's changing, something's moving, and the Tower card is the card that kind of tells you that things never stay the same. It's always going to be moving, so it's your attitude. What are you going to do with it now that it's happening? The world is shaking around you. How do you respond? And I've said the Tower card has always indicated to me, when I read it for people, you're looking at the rubble of what once was and saying, I can either rebuild out of this rubble, or I have now the opportunity to go down the road and do something completely different. So, there you go. I love the dragon in the card, too. The art on these, I'd love to see the art in full size on these. So it's beautiful art on this. All right. There you go, Morgan. I hope that is helpful, and I hope it's meaningful. That all means something for what you're doing. Wow, so true, she says. Well, that's good to hear. I know we've got Jason in there that asked for a card. Let me just... all I'm going to do, Jason, is just do one quick shuffle like this. And I'm going to cut the deck. Let's do a card for Jason. All right, Jason, here we go. JP, the 4 of Strength. This is what that looks like. Let me get that comment down. So the 4 of Strength. There you go. All right. And that is, I just noticed I don't have my ring on. I must have left it sitting somewhere upstairs. I like to, when I wash my hands, I take that ring off because I don't like getting water underneath it. So the 4 of Strength. I've got to look it up in this book because I'm not familiar with this deck quite yet. So the 4 of Strength. Here is, it says, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Seek out others to collaborate with. So, and they give as an example, if you were playing a game, the mayor of a small town has declared tieflings a threat to moral decency and wants them rounded up and detained. All right. I don't know what a tiefling is because it was never big into traditional Dungeons and Dragons. So, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Collaboration. You need to rely. This is telling me, Jason, that you can be, I think you can be somebody who, from what I know of you, very set in the way you think. We're all set in our ways to a certain extent. You're not like old and set in your ways. You just have ways of doing things. And sometimes we can be a little too individualistic, meaning we take it all on ourselves just to do what needs to be done. I tend to be that way. I don't always like people's advice. It's like, okay, thanks, shut up. No. So the idea with this here, I think, is collaborate with people you know to either for work or achieving something. Strength, what does it say? The suit of strength in this deck means, and this will direct it a bit, it signifies your physical ability to move and change your environment. I know you're in the midst of that right now. It's also your passion and your creativity, your inner resolve, your heart. The strength cards show seekers that they need to take action and focus on their inner strength to bring about change in the world, which seems almost contradictory to saying the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, or something like that, however that saying goes. So this is just saying you've got the strength to do all that, and you're in the process of doing that, changing your environment, changing things, and it's good to collaborate and get input. JP says, this might be a tad too accurate. It gets spooky sometimes when it's so accurate, isn't it? So there you go. All right. I always say, I don't deliver. I don't create the message. I deliver it. It's the message that's given. So there you go. All right, JP. Now, who do we have next? Brianna. What about me? I'll do you, Brianna. I have no clue what's going on. I'm doing Tarot. It's a new Tarot deck that Raini and I got yesterday. It's the Tarot of, here, this is the box. I got them at Target for $20. It's the Tarot of Dungeons and Dragons. And I bought it because I'm drawn to the art. I saw that on the box and I said, oh, I like these. I want to pick these up. And it's structured differently than a traditional tarot deck. It does have the major arcana, which is the same. Messages from the universe, from God. But then it's got the four suits are subdivided differently. Let me do one card for Brianna. I know there's other people that have said me, too. I'll get to everybody. So let me do Brianna here. Brianna. Our old neighbors, if those of you who don't know, John and Bree. We miss you guys, by the way. We got to get together one of these days. So, all right, Bree, I'm going to I just did a quick shuffle. I'm going to divide the deck and pull out a card for you today. I have no idea what's on your mind, what's going on. So here we go. We get the 9 of Strength is the card I just pulled for you. The 9 of Strength. Now, I think Strength kind of goes along with the swords in the deck, but the meanings are just a little different. So I got to look this up in their book and say, what does their 9 of Strength mean? And of course, the Strength cards, it signifies your physical ability to move and change your environment. So it's your passion, your creativity, your inner resolve, and your heart in matters. So the 9 of Strength, here's the 8, here's the 9 out of the book. The 9 of Strength, finding the wellspring of resolve to push through a hardship. It's a test of your faith. The example they give from Dungeons and Dragons, it says, evil from a haunted house has begun to blight the village farms in the valley below. Farmers have taken a collection to pay you to clear out the evil. Okay. So that's the kind of the fictional application of it in Dungeons and Dragons. But this card is telling you, Brianna, you're in the process of already, or you need to find that wellspring of resolve that helps you push through something that's been difficult, a hardship, something you got to get over, you got to get through. I got to make it through this. And it's a test of your faith to make sure that you are testing yourself to get yourself, it's not motivation. It's relying on your inner strength to pull you through. What you know is right. And it's almost like I want to say, you already know what to do. You already know how to do. What usually holds us up is the time it takes to do, or the time we take fumbling around figuring out, do I really know what to do? This is saying, don't worry about anything. You already got that. Just do. And you can rely on your strength to push through whatever's going on. Make it happen. There you go. Yeah, I got a new deck now. I don't know if I'm going to use how often I'll use this, but I've got several decks of Tarot. And so what's you say here? It's been a hot minute since we've been on, too. Yeah, it has. And I agree with JP. Way too accurate. Been struggling lately. I understand. We all got that. Struggle is nothing unique to us, but this is one that's saying whatever your particular area of struggle is right now, keep persevering to get through it. Keep persevering to do what you got to do. I'm going to read that for you one more time because it was the Nine of Strength. Finding the wellspring of resolve to push through hardship. It's a test of your faith. There you go. All right. Who else did we have? Kalina says, me too. Now, again, if I'm missing you somewhere, just repeat it in the chat room, folks, so I don't miss you. Totally. Somebody might have said something earlier on that I missed. So here we go. I am going to, for Kalina, just do a quick, I'm just doing the quick shuffle like this. And these cards are bigger than what I'm used to. So it's unwieldy. I got to get used to handling these. So let's cut the deck for Kalina. And I'm going to get your card. Here we go. Kalina. You've got the Six of Charisma. The Six of Charisma. Now that obviously looks like, it's got a big goblet he's holding, which is cups. But I'm seeing what looks like coins in there as well. I don't know yet because I don't know this deck very well yet. So I don't know if this coincides with goblets or cups or coins. Let's see. Let's see what this says. So the Six of Charisma says this. Now, by the way, the suit of charisma is, let's see. Charisma, the suit itself denotes a person's confidence, their eloquence, their ability to influence the material world with their energy. So material is the key word there. This could be like coins or pentacles. And these cards show seekers that a flowering of their inner beauty and power is taking place, or that they have an opportunity to grow their self-esteem and expand their capacity for fun and for joy. So that's what the suit means. Now, the Six of Charisma is this. Let's see. Three of Charisma, Six of Charisma. Here it is. Here's the card again, the Six of Charisma. And it says, giving and receiving fully while not sacrificing your values or exhausting your energy. So this is a card that's telling you that you give of yourself fully, but you're not really sacrificing your values or your energy. Now, I'm going to read the reversal on this because it did come up as a reversal when I pulled it up upside down, which I've said I don't generally read reversals. Reversals can have an opposite meaning, and this book doesn't offer a reversal. But think of what the reverse would be of giving and receiving fully while not sacrificing your values or exhausting your energy. I'm going to ask you a question, and only you can answer this, Kalina. Are you giving of yourself to the point where it is diminishing your own energy? It's diminishing who you are. Sometimes giving of self is just that. We give of self. We be selfless. We give to people because we love and we want to give and we want to help. But this is one of that it's like, I've used this in relation to a different card in the deck, but it's like baking the pie and giving everybody else a slice, but you didn't save one for yourself. This might mean in reversal that you have to be very careful of how you give, how you're giving of yourself, because in reversal, that might mean that you're giving enough or so much that you're not leaving much for yourself. Again, the card, by definition, giving and receiving fully while not sacrificing your values or establishing your energy or exhausting your energy. I'm sorry. So in the reverse, this could mean you might be giving and receiving fully, but you're sacrificing your values or you're exhausting your energy to get there. So take a look, take an inner look on that. Boom. That's your card. I think that might be the case, that you give. And even if you think you're giving gregariously and it's meaning something, it's draining you. So be very careful how you give. And the example they give out of Dungeons and Dragons, an old mariner tells you the precise location of a legendary shipwreck off the coast. Okay. That's for the game. That's for if you're playing it as a game. And this book does offer things about using these cards as the game itself. Where did it say that? D&D Encounters. In this book, you'll see a section with the ampersand symbol. This section is a way for you to use the tarot deck in your D&D games. So that's just it, and they're random on the cards. So that's what that one said. Treasure, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it has anything to do with the actual meaning of what it would be in the tarot. So watch how you're giving of yourself is what that card is saying. Now, again, that's a generalized meaning. But we're only doing one card reading, so there it is. Hey, Terry. See, the Terry here is here. Good morning. The reversal might be true, says Kalena. Who do we have next? Who's up next? Sandra. Let's do Sandra, because I see your name right there. This is a good way to get used to the deck, too, is just to rifle off these one-card readings. And let me shuffle it up. Just shuffle my cards. Shut up, Raini. Hey, Raini.
Hi, Scotty.
How you doing, beautiful?
I'm doing. I figure since there's only a couple minutes left, it comes back down here.
Right on.
Comes down here for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Hi.
How you doing? Hey, everybody. Say good morning to my beautiful wife. Hi.
Hi.
How'd you sleep?
Okay.
All right. So I come in here at like 8:30. So I haven't seen her since 8:30. So anyway. All right. Shuffling for who do we have? Hey, baby, says Brianna. That's
Hey.
to you, I think.
Hi.
Let's see. Good morning, Tom Keenan. Kalena says hi. Rainy.
Good morning. Good morning. Hi. Hi.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
I'm awake. I'm here.
All right. So let's see. I'm reading for Sandra right now. So let me cut the deck for you, Sandra. Do one card. You have the 10 of charisma. I don't want to cover my wife's face there. The 10 of charisma. I love this. I saw this card. I think was this on the back of the box? It was not. I saw it somewhere before I opened up the deck, and I liked that. I thought that was nice art. I like that. There's a big bear in the background up on the top. And the gnomes, it looks like are dwarves or something. So the 10 of charisma. Now, again, this deck is not a traditional deck I'm used to, so I've got to use this little booklet. Now, remember, the suit of charisma means it denotes a person's confidence, eloquence, their ability to influence the material world with their energy. And it shows seekers that a flowering of their inner beauty and power is taking place, or they have an opportunity to grow their self-esteem and expand their capacity for fun and joy. And you've got the 10 of charisma, and the 10 of charisma reads thusly. The scrolls say, the security that comes with having a network of people who support you and your dreams, long-term success. All right? So this is something about having that support group, It's going to help you do whatever's going on. Doesn't have to be difficulties. It just has to be standard stuff could be going on. And you need that support group. I know you take care of your mom. I know that about you. It could have to do with that. It could be something totally different. So rely on that that network of people to help you get to your goals is the idea there. And that might be the only way you're going to get there. Damn it, I wanted that one, said Steph. There you go. So what do you got to say, Rainy?
Not much.
You want to do some of these?
No.
Want me to do you?
No.
I'm going to do her. Not before coffee. Oh, the old days are gone.
Not to be like, you and I can't read each other, and you can't read your own stuff.
I'm interested if I pull a card for you, what it's going to say.
It's going to say whatever backwards because it never works. When
Cut the deck. Just one cut.
Do me.
I'm doing you. I'm doing my wife right now on radio.
I'm shuffling. I'm putting my energy into your deck.
Okay, put your energy into my deck. Oh no, wouldn't I be putting my energy into your deck? Give me a card. That's your card right there?
Right there.
Whoosh bang! Here's Rainy's card. The Two of Intelligence.
I'm too intelligent. I like that
Not
card.
TWO, not TOO. Now look at that card for a second. Intelligence is the suit that says this. The suit represents how the power of the intellect can shape our world. These cards show seekers how they can use their thoughts to shape their attitude and their reality. Rarely do we see the world as it is without our mind creating a story around it. We paused on that when we read it earlier. Rarely do we see the world around us without our minds creating a story for it. So that's the suit. Now, as the Two of Intelligence is, there's the three. It's going to make a quip, and I'm not going to. Two of Intelligence. The Three of Intelligence was right there. I was going to go, oh, that's Rainy's card. Ooh, nice rack. So anyway, sorry. That's just me. Everything is everything. The Two of Intelligence, how our inner monologue causes confusion and how we have to find a way to listen to our heart. Boom. So here's the thing. The energy of this card says, if you were to define this card, that our mind tells us one thing, our heart tells us another. But remember I said I don't read strict reversals? Her card, this came up in reversal for Rainy. So this might mean that what you have to do is rely less on the way your mind governs you to go. And wait, was it mind or I want to make sure I'm not messing those up. How our inner monologue causes our confusion and how we must find a way to listen to our heart. All right, there you go. So don't let your inner monologue, and I'll tell this for everybody, don't let the inner monologue govern you, because sometimes our inner monologue is based on our externals. It's based on our stuff, our stress, our anxiety, our happiness, our joys, our desires. All those things govern. And it says, be careful of that. Let your heart guide you, but sometimes our inner monologue isn't always accurate. Watch what's inner monologue versus what's actual. There you go. That's for you.
Cool. Thanks.
And how's that? Do you feel like you've been done?
No.
You don't?
No.
Oh, we'll have to remedy that. You're sitting low in that low chair because I took the cushion.
And then my back hurts.
Here,
so
I'm going to do
I'm
this
hunching.
then. I'm going to give you the cushion.
I need an adjustment.
Raise your butt. There we go. Somewhat higher. I'm somewhat lower. Somewhat more on the same level. There we go. That's Rainy.
I switched all my pillows out.
Morning, Rainy.
Oh, and my
This is
back
Terry.
is just hurting. Good morning.
Uh-oh.
Good morning,
Yeah,
Terry.
I know.
Yeah.
So, all right. Who's next, by the way? Oh, and Sandra says all of her friends support her. That's what you needed in your reading, it says. So, Raini looks so excited with her reading, says Kalena.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did.
Hey, you know what? I'm doing a radio show.
But Rowan
So you don't
cut
cut.
my hair.
She cut your hair.
Yes.
Show me the hair.
I don't
Go
know
have fun,
where
Mom.
cut it, but she cut it somewhere.
She might have been. She might have just faked you out. Come on. Do you have the hair that was cut off? No. So it didn't really get cut. Let's just come and start yelling. All right. Do her, but not in front of us, Scotty. Said, oh, you okay? I think Rainy tripped on their way up the stairs. So Rainy looks so excited with her reading, LOL. Rainy is somebody who, now that she's not here, I can talk behind her back. Rainy is somebody, she suffers from anxiety and clinical anxiety, whatever you want to call that. And so I thought that was a really appropriate card for her. Inner monologues. What is the inner monologue of somebody that's governed by their anxiety, or that they allow anxiety to take them away sometimes? It means their stressors are the things that are managing who they are. I got this yellow. I'm just looking at the screen, and my light is set for yellow. Here, hold on. I got a yellow filter on it. Right there. Let's go white. Whiter. Here we are. Everything looks very yellow on the camera today. Let's see what that does. Take that light down a little bit. Not much. All right. So there we go. Let's see if I change the camera. There you can see. It's bringing up the blues now. There we are. Okay. So somebody's yelling down the steps to me while I'm doing radio. I'm not going to respond to that. If you want to come and whisper to me or say something, the family's just not tuned in today. All right. So Rainy is exited. She's out. She's helping the kids get over whatever. Obviously, somebody did not get their hair cut by somebody else. So somebody got faked out. So there you go. All right. Who is next? Steph? The question mark? Let's do Steph. It's only appropriate that I should do Steph right after doing my wife. See, there's just so much. There's so much we can do. There's so much fun we can have with that stuff without crossing the line. Oh, Rainy's coming back, I think. Not for long, though. She's got stuff going on.
I'm going to go get chicken to make chicken Alfredo.
Make chicken Alfredo?
My stomach's on fire, so it's better that I move.
Chicken Alfredo sounds great.
Right? I'm gonna go to Dick's.
You're going to go to...
I'm gonna go to Dick's.
I've done Rainy, and now she's going to Dick's.
Yeah.
Dick's is the chain of local supermarkets up here. Dick's. So, going to Richard's.
Dick's. I'm going to Dick's where everything costs twice as much as it should.
It is. It's one of those stores where, you know, I could go to Cub Foods, I could go to Walmart, I could go to Rainbow or whatever. But if you go to Dick's, you're like, okay, I'm going to spend more money on this. But sometimes it's nice to get into a little better atmosphere. I just go there sometimes because it's like, I'd rather shop here.
It's only 2 minutes away from the house versus
Yeah.
a half-hour trek back and forth.
That's it.
To the big store.
Dick's is right up at the corner. Well, around the corner, across the bridge.
It's a half a mile away instead.
It's a half a mile away. Dick's is the sporting goods place, says Field Guy.
Dick's is also the sporting goods place, but Dick's here.
We've got Aldi's. They're
Dick's.
just, you got to drive 10 minutes to get to Aldi's.
Yeah.
It's
Aldi's
10 minutes away instead
Aldi's
of
is
one.
a 12-minute drive versus a 12-minute drive. Is the 12-mile drive versus the half-a-mile drive.
That's right. So yeah, Dick's is all right here in town. So a little tiny town. So.
But I like to buy the chicken that Dick's has.
She likes to buy the chicken at Dick's.
I like Dick's chicken.
Dick's chicken. There you go.
He choked it good.
Aldi, I love Aldi's. So does she. The only time I don't like it is when I decided I'm going to come and go shopping with her for groceries, and we got to go to Walmart to get the basic. Oh, here, let's get some meat. Oh, I get the meat at Dick's.
So you stop at Aldi's first. You stop at Aldi's first.
Here it is.
And you get all the cheese, the milk, the meat, the vegetables, everything you want, you buy at Aldi's. And then you have to go to Walmart, because Walmart's where they have all the gluten-free and the extra things you can't get at Aldi. And then if they don't have what I need at Walmart, then Cub has the rest.
Yep.
And then I don't go to Cub all the time, but just once in a while.
So there you go. Going grocery shopping is like an adventure.
But
Yeah, maybe
it's an
we'll pick up a
adventure when
dog.
Scotty goes, because he'll be like, "Ooh, this sounds really good. We should make this." And then he buys like 10 things to make food that never gets made, and then all the vegetables rot because
Not all the time.
Leeks, and I don't use a lot of green onion, and I don't use half the stuff you
You
buy.
know, I like leeks when
so
I do.
It rots in the fridge.
Shut it, woman. I don't always do that. That has happened on occasion.
No,
And-
it happens every time we go.
No, it doesn't. Oh, I don't go grocery shopping every
Every
time.
time
so.
we go with you.
I don't like.
Oh yeah. Oh, what's the last time? What was it? What was it that rotted that I bought?
The green onions and the green beans.
I didn't buy those.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you
I
did.
bought green beans. I forgot about
And
the green
onions.
beans.
And the green onions.
But you forget about them. They go in the what's that drawer? It's called the
No, they sat on the bottom shelf of the fridge. But I figure if
The
you're throwing
rotter.
them in the cart, if you're throwing them in the cart, you know what you're going to make, and then you don't make any.
I was going to make them. I was going to steam the green beans, and we were going to have them, and we just never did.
And then if you're
It's one of
gonna
those
buy,
packages
if you're
that was
gonna
all sealed
buy
up.
fresh green beans, and you're not going to cook them right away, you don't buy them. Then you buy frozen green beans and use
There you
those.
go.
And that's what I usually buy.
I planned on doing it right away. I didn't. So they rotted and they got thrown out.
I threw them away 2 weeks later.
What's happened? We've thrown out. How many of us have thrown out vegetables and fruit that we haven't eaten?
Can we go now?
Can you go now?
Yeah, we're gonna go.
Can you go now?
Bye.
Rowan's hungry and wants to eat now, and the water's boiling up on the stove.
Okay.
so-
Bye.
If they have sushi, I'm getting sushi.
No, we're not. Yes, we are.
I forget who's the parent.
Sometimes they have sushi at Dick's, so if they have sushi, we're getting sushi. Whether you want it.
Whatever. Okay, guys. Here we go. We're back at it. Who was next? Let's see. Steph. I was going to read for Steph. Let's do. I think so much water's gone under the bridge since I shuffled. Let's shuffle one more time for Steph. You know what? We had a card flip up, and I am always one that reads the flipped up cards because they flip up for a reason. Okay, Steph, you've got the Queen of Intelligence. The Queen of Intelligence. Look at that card. That's very cool. I love the artwork on these. So the Queen of Intelligence. That flipped up in your behalf. Let's see what that one says. Again, folks, if you're just tuning in, I'm reading from the book. It's not that I don't know what Tarot does. It's that I don't know what this deck does. So I'm getting used to this deck. Queen of Intelligence. The necessity to clearly communicate what you desire from a space of loving kindness. So the Queen of Intelligence. The necessity to clarify or to clearly communicate what you desire from a space of loving kindness. So this is one of using your natural grace, your natural love, your natural passion to get across what you want and what you desire. This is it, folks. This is what I want. This is what I desire. It could be to an individual. It could be to a group of individuals. It doesn't clarify that in just one card. But this is telling you that you need to rely on your strength and the love that you have in your heart. That to me, that's so cliche. You use your loving kindness from your heart. Not everybody looks at themselves and go, do I have loving kindness? No, it's that inner stuff that you possess. It's who you are. It's the passion of your life. So use that to bolster saying, this is what I need. And it's okay, folks. It's okay, Steph, to say, this is what I need. I need this. Raini tells me all the time what she needs. This is what I need you to do for me. Now, if you want any, that's that kind of thing. It's, Raini will let me know what she needs. And that's how I'm illustrating the point with that. And Steph, it's okay for you to tell the people around you, this is what I need, and move on with it. There it goes. Oh boy, do I have passion, says Steph. Make use of that. Steph, and go on with it. So anybody else? Who's next? Yeah, Morgan Snow. I love the artwork on all these cards. Here, like I just opened this up. Here's the Justice card. Just pull that one. Look at that. I love that. That's the card of Justice from the Major Arcana. Oh, and right next is the Queen of Wisdom. Look at that. I love the work on these. Beautiful paintings, what they are. This is the Fool. All seen the Fool card. Exquisite artwork. The Star. Look at that. And these are all done, of course, Dungeons and Dragons style. So, it's Dungeons and Dragons deck. Anybody else? We got any more takers? It's pretty much a go, said Steph. We got 8 minutes left of this morning's program. If anybody wants me to do a card for you, and if you said so and I missed you, please restate it, because I may have just missed it in the natural ebb and flow of things here. Field Guy says, Steph, come down here for Mardi Gras. There you go. Steph says, I need to go to Daytona Bike Week. Potato, 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 potato. Cordia would like a card. Let's do you here, Cordia. I'm going to shuffle it up as best I can. Still getting used to the size and shape of this deck. So it shuffles up differently than my regular cards. All right. Shuffled. And I'm going to cut the deck for you. Right there. All right. Cordia, here is your card. It is the Death card. Uh-oh. Well, goodbye. Nice knowing you. No. As we all know, death doesn't mean physical death. Rarely does it ever mean anything like that. So there's the art. There's the Death card. And we all know what death means. It's in the Major Arcana. It just means the ending of something to open up the doorway for the new. I want to see how they define the Death card here in this deck. Death is the transformation from one perceptual reality to another, and the ending of habitual patterns. In the game, it says, a vampire lord offers you the gift of eternal undeath in exchange for a single favor. So there you go. So as the card goes, the energy of your life, it's transforming yourself from one perceptual reality to another. It's ending habitual patterns. Sometimes we get ourselves, and Cordia, this may be you in this case, we get ourselves locked into the way we do things and the habitual patterns of how we do things. I got that one the first pull you did for me. Oh, really? That's a ways back. So this is one of changing your perceptions. And changing perception isn't always easy. It's what we are perceiving of the world around us. And that perception is usually made up of all the stuff we're made up of, all our the amalgam of our experiences and our life practice, modes of operation, all of that create our perception of things. So this is not a small thing, because you're changing a perception of something from one to another. And so that involves you undoing perhaps a lifetime, or at least a temporal parts of your life, habits of doing things. It's ending habitual patterns. So, Cordy, what this is, take it to heart. It is temporary because it's just today and it's just one card. We got nothing modifying this card. This is, I'll do one for you too, Terry. I'll do you next. So this is what you got to do. Cordia, look at what's going on in your life right now. I don't know what your circumstances are, what you're going through at present with different things. It doesn't even have to be a negative. It could just be a positive. I got to change my perception on this. What if it was, we'd all like this, my perception is that I'm poor, but I just won the $250 million lottery. So now I got to change my perception. I'm no longer poor. Now I've got money to deal with. So it could be a perception. That's a silly example, but it's the idea of things can be a positive thing as well. It doesn't always have to be a negative thing that you're changing. Here's your sign, says Field Guy. All right, Cordy, I hope that's helpful. I hope it's spot on for you. What did Field Guy say? Would you remember this? Would you remember this? Okay, I missed the meaning there. Field Guy needs him. We'll do Field Guy too. He might be in protest, but we'll do him. Here, this one's for Terry Pitts. Terry, my brother Terry, over in Virginia. So let's just do a quick shuffle, and then we'll cut the deck for you, Terry. Now, keep in mind, as I've said all the way along, we're just doing one cards, so you're not going to get a lot of input from the rest of a card reading around it. So this is just a quick snapshot of what's going on. Here you go, Terry. This one's for you. And I've got the Three of Strength. The Three of Strength. And it came up in the reversal. So let's see what they say in this deck the Three of Strength stands for. It's got three women in it, but there's a fourth person. I was thinking it was like the Three of Cups, but Strength is more of the swords. So I don't know exactly what their deck is because they've created their own sub-minor arcanas. So let's see what they say with the Three of Strength. Let's see. Let me get to the... And so I've got to learn these cards if I'm going to use them effectively. I'd like to do a whole spread with these and see how that comes. Ace 2. Three of Strength. Expanding your circle of influence and communicating your ideas. Making progress is the idea of this card as it stands. Making progress in the expansion of your circle of influence and the ideas that you put out there. Now, it came in a reversal, which I don't read strict reversals. But in the reversal, this might mean just the opposite of that. That you are feeling stagnated, held up in your sphere of influence, and your ability to promote and communicate your ideas, to do things. I don't know if it's a new business or if it's just family stuff or personal stuff, whatever it might be that you might feel a little closed in. This is what I'm getting. I'm getting that this is the strength of this particular card is saying to you. You need to expand your circle of influence and communicate your ideas. You need to make progress, but you might be feeling like you're not getting where you want to get yet. And that you've let things, it's like you've let the standing water in the basement stand for too long kind of thing is the idea. And it's not a super negative because it's a negative that can be fixed real easy, but it's a little extra work. So I think this card is telling you, you've got to communicate your ideas better. You've got to expand your circle of influence to get where you need to be. Don't let the water stand in the basement, so to speak. Clear it out of there. Dry it. Repaint the basement floor, whatever you got to do. What's a basement, says Field Guy? Beside the point. It's something you don't have down there because you don't need them. You'll flood out in your area of the world. So, Terry, take that to heart. Move forward. Expand your circle of influence. And communicate your ideas better. What you want to do, where you want to go. I hope that makes sense. Don't let things that have happened. Now, I know enough about your circumstances to know some of the things you've been through lately. It's just typical stuff that affects guys our age. And so, you got to deal with some of that. I get that. But make sure you're communicating your needs. Make sure you're communicating your ideas. Make sure that sphere of influence around you is something that's going to be helpful. It's okay for that to be that way. So don't grow stagnant is the idea. Move forward. Keep moving forward. And let your people that are your sphere of influence know. All right. Hope that was good, Terry, for you. I hope that meant something. Was meaningful for you. Field guy. Let me shuffle a little bit for you, and I'll do a card for you. If you don't want me to, speak up. If you're okay with it, just here it comes. All right. I'm going to cut the deck for you. If you can't dig, you will get water. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right, here's your card, field guy. You got the 8 of Wisdom, but it came up in the reverse. So let's see what the 8 of Wisdom says, and if it's worth reading the reversal in this. Strength, intelligence. I think Wisdom is the third one in here. Here we go. Let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8 of Wisdom. Finding a way out of past pain by having faith that something better is waiting for you. And I can see I'm getting immediately that the reversal of this as it came up is that you might be stuck in moving out of past pain. And I don't want to reveal anything you don't want revealed. I don't know anything about your personal affairs, but or to put you on the spot or embarrass you or anything like that. But this is saying you got some buried stuff, field guy, that might be stuff that's worth addressing openly with yourself. You're welcome, Terry. Openly with yourself. Deal with it. It's okay to say, I've got stuff that is past pain. It's great. Those are the things that move us. And if we don't acknowledge that past pain, this is in general, if we don't acknowledge our past pain, we're keeping it buried. And that could be the stuff that's governing us. When what should be governing us is us being able to take the past pain and make it into something we need. It's like I had lost a bunch of weight when I broke up with a woman I was dating for 4 years before I knew Raini. And that breakup was almost worse than a divorce. And I had been through a divorce just 5 years earlier. So, and I was with this woman for 4 years, and we broke up, and it came rather suddenly. It wasn't even a grab, it was just boom, and it was there, and I reacted badly emotionally. And you know what happens when you go through those things? And field guy, this is all to work this into what I'm telling you about. Those of you who've been in relationships and lost them, and you go through that emotional distress, what happens? You don't eat as much. You might lose some weight. The stress of it, or the worry, or the hurt of it. And what happened to me was the stress, the loss of love, the frustration of not understanding all the tidbits of it. And I started losing some weight. But that was right at the beginning of, I remember it was April of 2005. And Raini and I started dating, by the way, in August of 2005, although we'd known each other for a year. But I didn't think, Raini and I had some encounters before that, and we knew each other. She came to Scotch and Cookies. I never thought I was going to be in a relationship with Raini. And when this final break happened with this person, I said, it hit me emotionally. And so I lost a little weight over a week, just a week. I could feel it already. And I thought, I'm not going to let the emotional stress of this take over. I am going to make use of it to do something good for myself. And that's when I started doing my biking, and I ended up dropping 70 pounds, 65 to 70 pounds. So I went and I started biking 6 to 12 miles a day. I did that for 3 months and I lost 70 pounds and I was in the greatest shape of my life. I started eating better and all of that. But here, this is for you, field guy. When I'm talking about that, it's the idea of sometimes we got to look at our past and find the past pain, and using your own faith in yourself and in whatever you put your faith in, you have that something that is better waiting for you out there if you apply it and you make it work for yourself. That's what this is about. All right? So there you go. Field guy, you don't have to tell us if it's accurate. You don't have to tell us that you got buried past pain or anything. We all do to one respect or another. It affects us all on different levels. So whatever it is, look at the things that might hold you up that are things from your past and go, I'm not camping there. I'm going to take that and convert it into positive energy to do something better. That's really what that's about. So there you go. Yeah, we all have buried shit, Steph. Hey, Roger Rabbit. Very late to the party, but glad I'm here. Roger, I'm just about ready to wrap up today, but would you like a little one-card reading? I got a new deck that we're going through today. If you want one, tell me so, and you'll be the last one I do for today. And folks, I'm just going to tell you this. If you want to have a reading, a full reading, I can use my traditional deck that I always use. I can use this deck, and we can stumble our way through it a little bit as I get to learn this deck. As you can see, I don't have to know the deck for it to be accurate. As I've said before, the very first reading I ever did was at the traditional Rider-Waite deck, hundreds of years old. And I took that deck and the book, and I did a reading for him. We did a 10-card spread, and I did the reading for him, and it was bloody accurate. And he was in tears by the time we were done, and he says, that is so spot on. And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing yet. And it was spot on because I was just going by what the cards did. And that told me it was worth pursuing more. And so I kept pursuing it. Here's a link, by the way. And then we'll do a little mini reading for Roger here. I've just pasted it into the chat room. If you would like a reading, they cost money. Yeah. I'm altruistic only to a certain point. I still have to earn an income. Revenue to keep the wheels greased over here. But if you'd like a reading, you can talk to some of the people in the chat room. If you've had a reading from me, you've all seen how I do readings. I can do a reading for you. So go over and sign up for one. Do what the website tells you at that link. And we'll get you on the books for this week. Maybe even today if you're lucky. So let's do a reading for Roger. And then I will take my leave of you all for the day. So let me shuffle one time for you here, Roger. Oh, I had a card flip up. So you know what happens when I do that? I use that card. Oh, now I just dropped a whole bunch of them. Good grief. Well, Roger, this is the card that flipped up for you. It's the Wheel of Fortune. Vanna, I'd like to take a major arcana, please. So the Wheel of Fortune, that's part of the major arcana. These stay pretty true to their definitions outside of this being the D&D deck. But in their book, it says, a turning point in your destiny and your ability to adapt to change. The Wheel of Fortune card is telling you, Roger, that what we lose on the downturn on the wheel, we gain on the upswing. So the wheel, what we're losing, we're gaining on the other side. So the Wheel of Fortune is saying life spins. It's constantly spinning. Our circumstances, our energy, all the stuff that happens to us is the stuff that happens to either destroy us or make us better. All depending on how we react to that. All depending on what we do with that information. So the Wheel of Fortune is what I've always liked, the Wheel of Fortune, because it is it's something that reassures us that when things might seem bad, there's also the other side of the wheel that's turning up. The actions of your past are the seeds of your future success, in other words. And to make progress, you have to accept that changes are coming. There's a beneficial change that's approaching you, especially if you've been going through a bad patch. And keep in mind that luck and fortune are things that are out of our control. Those are not things that we necessarily stick our hand into. We can stop them and we can do things on our own, but we don't make them happen. The future is going to yield this opportunity that's going to change your path towards your personal growth, toward your happiness. And you have to be ready to change your ways of thinking, Roger. Be ready. You can't incorporate good change without the ability of changing your way of thinking. Whether or not your actions bring success, they represent a beneficial change to you. So, the Wheel of Fortune stands for luck, hence the name, fortune. It's changes. It's new direction. And while it also shows the ups and the downs, the overall feel of the card in general is a positive feeling in the Wheel of Fortune. And it's one that indicates that change for the better and good fortune is on your doorstep. If you're looking for a yes, no on something, it's a yes card. So the idea with this, Rogers, is this could be something very temporal. It could be something that's in the immediate. It might not be, my whole life is changing in this. It could just be, it's this moment. There's a thing that's going on. So there you go. So hopefully that works for you. What are you guys talking about? Songs? 11:11 while you're reading this. How about that? Time prompts. So good morning, Dara. There we go. That's what we're doing for today. We're done. That was the new deck. I got to be done because I got to move on to other things today. We've gone for a little over 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes. So that, folks, is my new deck of cards, which I still have to explore in greater detail to see how to read this deck, because this deck is different than anything I've used before. It's got different connotations, different meanings for the minor arcana. So I wanted to showcase that deck today and give you all a little taste of it. And I know I haven't done readings on Sunday mornings for a long time. Maybe we'll kind of make that a point of trying to make part of Sunday mornings about doing some more readings. So in particular, to get more adept at this deck and how it works. So I love this. It comes with this box. This is how a lot of the good tarot decks come now. This is like the one I wanted to create. I still have to get into creating my deck. I had done some paintings. I will either continue on with that or I'll abandon that and go a different direction. We'll see. So let me just put this one away. I want to thank you all for being here. Thanks for giving me your time. Just like in the show during the week. Thanks for being here and giving me your time. Yeah, I appreciate that. It means a lot to me that you'd show up and that you'd stick around. If I didn't do a reading for you and you want one, if you want a full reading, I could take these cards. We could do a full spread and we'll see how it goes. But those aren't free. Sorry to say. I put that link. I'm going to put it one more time. If you want to take advantage of getting a reading from me, I'm pasting it in the chat room right now, and you can come on over and contact me through that. Go to that site and figure out what you want to do, and we'll take it from there. That's all. So thanks for being here. I'm going to go. You all have a good rest of your Sunday now that the morning is gone. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. I don't know if Wendy is doing a Wicked Women today. If she is, it would be at 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock London time. You'll have to check in with her site and see if she's doing a Wicked Women today. I hadn't heard, so I'm not positive. Also, we have Robertson on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. So that's what's going on in radio. Then we got Kenny Ballos doing Morning Coffee with KB. I don't know if he's going every day this week, but he's usually in the mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central. And there you go. All right, folks, we'll talk to you later. Everybody have a good day. And in the meantime, just want to say to you all, live long and prosper.